Look up. The sky is pitch black. This isn't nighttime. It's the middle of the day. But you can't see the sunlight anymore. You haven't seen it for years. Snow begins to fall on you, but it isn't cold. It is warm, gray ash. Every breath you take burns your lungs. This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie 70,000 years ago. This was the reality on Earth, the living hell our ancestors had to endure. Back then, humans were living on Earth, but soon almost everyone was about to disappear. It all started with a massive sound, the loudest sound humans have ever heard in history. On the island of Sumatra, Indonesia, the Toba Supervolcano erupted. This was no ordinary volcanic eruption. It was the largest natural disaster in recent global history. Billions of tons of rock, ash, and toxic gas were blasted into the atmosphere. That massive ash cloud covered the entire planet. It blocked out the sunlight completely. Within a few days, global temperatures plummeted. Even the tropics were covered in ice. Because there was no light, the plants died. Because the plants died, the animals died. So, what happened to the humans back then? Humans died in mass numbers. They died from the cold. They died from suffocating ash. But most of all, they died from starvation. Human populations spread across the globe, went silent, one by one. There were no people left in Europe. There were no people left in Asia. Only bodies and ash remained everywhere. At that moment, the extinction of the entire human race was almost certain. But, in a remote corner of Africa, a small group still remained. If you knew just how few they were, you would be shocked. Modern scientists have studied our DNA. They found that the genetics of every human are surprisingly similar. Why? The answer is terrifying. 70,000 years ago, the entire human population didn't number in the millions, not even in the hundreds of thousands. Across the entire world, only between 3,000 and 10,000 breeding individuals remained. Think about that. That is a population that wouldn't even fill a modern football stadium. Those 3,000 people are the ancestors of all of us. If they had died during that volcanic winter, humans wouldn't exist today. They were forced to hide inside freezing caves. But outside there were things waiting for them. When food became scarce, the animals went mad too. Terrifying predators began to approach the human caves. Humans were no longer the hunters. They became the prey. Furthermore, during the hungriest times, people began to turn on each other. Morality came only after survival. Every day was a battle with death, darkness, cold, hunger, and fear. They were trapped in this living hell for centuries. Most of them lost all hope. But a group that wouldn't give up found a new path. They turned their backs on the dead interior of the continent. They migrated to the coastal regions of South Africa. There was hope there. While land animals were dying, there was still life in the ocean. They studied the tides. They learned to forage for seafood, shellfish, and oysters. This change didn't just keep them alive. Nutrients found in seafood, like omega-3, allowed their brains to develop further. They invented new tools. They learned to communicate better with each other. Instead of destroying them, the apocalypse reshaped them into more intelligent human beings. What does this event teach us? All 8 billion people on Earth today descended from those 3,000 people who refused to die in the dark 70,000 years ago. Inside your veins flows the blood of those who survived the apocalypse. We are not a species that gives up easily. Even in the darkest, most dire situations, we have always found a way to survive. Never forget that.